This podcast is a production of Unfiltered Studios. If you would like to know more about joining Unfiltered Studios, please visit our website at unfpod.com for more information.
Remixed, reloaded, re-edited.
Sometimes we get so deep into conversation that we have separate segments worthy of their own place in the sun.
Here is a reshuffled mini episode.
Welcome once again, everybody. I remix all kinds of stuff, much like a DJ. I have all kinds of stuff where it's like, that was too funny to not re-release or re-edit. And yeah, I decided, since we did a brief discussion of the new metal group Saliva, that's right, you've heard them, from music like, songs like Ladies and Gentlemen, just click, click, boom. They're just one of those, you've heard them. Their songs are often played at sporting events and WWE, pay-per-view matches. Just, I don't want to say guilty pleasure. I hate that. Just shameless, lowbrow fun. And worked for all kinds of labels. My brother even saw him at a local cafe in downtown Fort Worth with friends one night. It was like 2018-ish, and they're just catchy. They've been working since the 2000s and just split up and gone their own way, but they have some interesting just trivia that I'll talk about, and I think it's just interesting how they're from Memphis, Tennessee, and just wanted to be heavy, and yeah, I mean, just looking at their covers, it almost is something that you could easily mistake for Evanescence type cover. Their music was featured in some movies like Wes Craven's Dracula. Yeah, I mean, Survival of the Sickest was pretty much their biggest album, but I just wanted to include this hysterical thing just because Jon really likes them, and we had Alex Krueger from Composers, the Movie Score podcast on, and he was going on a tangent, and I was just loving every minute of it just because Jon is so good at defending stuff that's kind of infamous, and James just likes doing impressions just to make a point, even if he does or doesn't care for certain stuff. And unfortunately, Wayne Swinney, the guitarist, 3 days into their 2023 tour, after releasing a single called High on Me, he was taken to the hospital, local Tennessee area, and died at the age of 59. Yeah, they've gone on to do some other fun new tracks featuring other music artists like Judge and Jury and even Candlebox of all people, and I just like them because they're party music. They're not trying to change the world of rock and roll. It's fun. It's fun. It's fun. That's all it's trying to be. Fun. And if you don't like it, that's okay. I love how all music describes their moods and themes as just being very irreverent, lively, raucous, reckless, bitter, and rousing. Those are all perfect adjectives for this. This is the B crowd. It's not meant to be the A crowd. If I was going to go with heavy metal, I'd think of something like Disturbed or Megadeth, but this is just very well done junk food type rock stuff that makes me just, a top-notch group like Megadeth is going to make me want to just say, wow, look at what they've done, how they changed the tone and filled the genre. Saliva is going to make me just go, man, I want to kick some ass today at work. I want to drive my car, speed down the highway. Just fun, energetic music. It does that well. That's what it's meant to do. That's what it accomplishes. So enjoy the rest of this funny blurb from the past, and thank you all for listening. We'll be doing some more music episodes in the future, but Thank you for all who tune in on a regular basis and give us the numbers to keep doing what we love doing, which is recording the show. So thank you.
But at the same time, like I can't even really complain about that, right? Like I'm a child of the grunge era, so I had to deal with, there, as far as I'm concerned, there are two guys that get to
band.
no. It's even worse. It's there's two guys that get to do the hussy, and then one of them is Lane Staley, and he's dead. The other one is Eddie Vedder. Right. Everybody else, nobody else gets to do that. But for years, we had like that bitch from Creed, with arms wide open. Okay, and that's exactly what you're talking about. So whether it's good or not, it's what people wanted apparently to hear. So it makes sense that a guy like Mancina would kind of, or anybody attached to RCP, it's like, look, this is what everybody wants. That's what we want now. So
that's a great impression of and it's so weird because it's like you even see it with TV shows. Is like, okay, whatever you're doing, you've got to make that opening credits look like the credits to ER or that score, that gritty thing. It has to look like NYPD Blue. So it's like after a while, like you say, it's like every medium, it has to look or sound like something, and then it takes you years to realize it's a one-up on the genre, but it just looks so much like everything else that was out, visually or musically, it just sounded the same. So it's like, and it just couldn't be helped. Producers would do it either out of admiration, just as a fan and just trying to attract the same kind of audience. So it's like, they just can't help themselves. It's like some of it is, like you say, out of love, and other times it's just the record company is like, we need 10 more clones of that to take up the same, space. And we don't care if it sucks or not. It's like, and it was just always, like you say, I was also of that 90s era, and like you, and I was at the same time where it's like, I heard all kinds of songs, and even though I didn't know the artist, it's like I still heard all the names. So it's like,
yeah,
I know Crystal Method, I know Shania Twain, I know all these other R&B and pop artists, because that song's just at the grocery store every fucking time we're going. So it's like, yeah, I hear that, and with all the other just all the other Salivas and Pearl Jam knockoffs, and so it got to where basically even the knockoffs have 5 other knockoffs. It's just because they're either the same artist or the same studio.
Well, and this is why we're sometimes hard on Hans Zimmer, because himself, the guy, the weird German, okay, he's whatever. He is but one man, and his legacy is RCP, and his legacy is RCP. But this is where it gets complicated, because what he has done now is he has created the sound. And he's done the same thing. He's created right, like he's created the sound, and he's set the stage now for every new composer that comes up is going to be influenced in some way by Hans Zimmer. Now, when you're influenced by John Williams, that means you're influenced by Bernard Herrmann, you're influenced by Ennio Morricone, you're influenced by a whole bunch of jazz, and that's
Raven
all good.
Yeah, but
if you're influenced by Hans Zimmer, you're influenced by a bunch of people who were working for scale.
Oh yes.
Right. So, and now he's set the stage for culture now to a certain degree, because he is the shit. And so people want to sound like him, and people want stuff to sound. The number of times that I will go and watch videos of, literally any movie, I don't even have to name one, any movie that was not scored by Hans Zimmer, there will be more than 0 people in the comments going, this would have been better done by Hans Zimmer. And it doesn't matter what it was. And it doesn't matter Casablanca. Like people will go, Zimmer would have done it better. We call them the Zimbies on our show, because that's what they want. And that's all they want, because that's all they've gotten for a while now. And that's
everything to be different. And yet at the same time, they don't know what else they like. And like you say, you don't know how much of that is just their lack of imagination or experience with the genre versus, like you say, it's all been engineered a certain way now for the last 20, and so now this is why, like you say, we tip our hat to the guys who can stand out and keep making an impact, and we keep wanting to uncover their work and see how they evolved as artists versus, there has-beens, but it's just now they're just kind of convention stables. If they come into town and do a autograph session, that's as much fanfare as they're going to get for the last 20. And so it does stink. It really does stink, because you want everyone to be successful and keep producing work that you can admire and leave a 5-star review. But then at the same time, it's just like it does kind of make you wonder if anyone really knows what they want, other than the same things.
Yeah. And to my mind, it's like, do you want to be an artist or do you want to be successful? Because some people can do both, but the reality is there are way more Mark Mancinas out there that are just working stiffs doing the job than there are real, like what we might consider artists. And that's one part. That's a much larger conversation, because that's culture, that's privilege, that's a lot of different things, class. There's a lot of stuff that goes into that. That's why you don't see a whole lot of composers of color either. Not a whole lot of women composers either. There's a reason.
Yeah, it's very bare in that landscape. And I mean, when we talk about the people who do a bigger thing, is like we talk about it all the time with like indie filmmakers who then they're hot shit, and next thing you know, they're working on an animated movie or a Comedy Central special or even a superhero epic. Totally different ballpark now. It may not even pay off. It may be a step down, because it's they just, like you say, they accepted a contract which is going to lead to success, but it may not turn out the way they want it, or it may not even be them at their best hour, or like you say, it's a mercenary job, so someone's got to do it.
Yeah.
God, but this has been very enlightening. This has been very cool, because like you say, is like Mancina is like hot for a minute, and then kind of just occasionally just wisely just chose, hey, if any pals are on a gig together, let's do something fun. And then, like you say, Raven just kind of goes everywhere all the time, anytime. I don't know how he gets any sleep.
Well, I have a pretty good idea of how he doesn't get any sleep. He was in Yes.
Like, those guys are notorious for just like everywhere all the time, all at once. Oh man. And we actually covered Yes recently on an episode, and there's like a fan site, and it hasn't been updated since like maybe circa 04, except on occasion. And so it's like there's occasional like new touring dates and forum stuff, but it's like the font is so early 2000s. You're like, you guys, can you hire some new webmaster, or is the site's not getting any clicks and you still just have it up?
Stop making my eyes vomit, please.
Yes. GeoCities knew what it was. That's the one doesn't. Well, this has been very eye-opening, Alex, having you on here.
Hey, it's been a pleasure, guys. I've really enjoyed the conversation. I feel bad because I don't. When I have people on my show, I'm like, I have to make sure that they have time to talk, and then I go on other people's shows, and I'm like, it's my show now, so I apologize for being a little bit overbearing.
We kind of just went on, is like we were talking about, anytime we can talk about the industry in addition to the artist, that's fine. It's just, as long as it doesn't feel like just such a all over the place kind of rant, and a lot of rant in general. And what are you going to be talking about next on your show? I mean, because you so far have gone into a lot of just kind of the sequels and other giant franchises who just really, the more they change composers, the more they change in tone.
We gotta go all over the place. I'll say this: we're as of this recording, we're taking a week or two off because we've all got a lot of stuff going on in our day jobs, because the Composers podcast is not our day job. But we just finished off our 10th season. We divide these into seasons, so we have a little bit of time in between. So we just finished off season 10.
You got 10 ready for the next half of the year, and then you just got to worry about the last half.
Yeah. So we just finished off season 10 at the beginning of May with episode 158, covering, oddly enough, Hans Zimmer's Dune, which was a good episode. It was an interesting. Oh, thank you. It was an interesting movie to cover. So when we come back, which we're going to be doing in about a week or so, we're going to be opening next season with Michael Giacchino's The Batman, this year's release, which I have yet to see. But I'm looking forward to it. I've heard good things. That one's like 3 hours long, from what I understand.
It is.
Oh God, that's gonna
It's all
be
good. I slept all day. I got time.
well. Also, Mikey G is one of my favorite composers, so I'm looking forward to it. But to give you an idea, the week after we're covering 1972's Sleuth with music by John Addison. So bit of a departure, which is what we tend to do on the show. So we do that, and then we're doing a bunch of other stuff too. We've got some specials on the Patreon coming out pretty soon.
You guys do good works because like there aren't too many film composer podcasts, and when they are, often they just want to like interview the composers. It's a big corporate one, or like you say, they just want to stick to the basics. Like, here is Michael Kamen's X-Men score. Here is
Yeah,
Dark Knight one. I'm like, well, what about all the other ones?
My big thing is like they're all kind of they've all got that NPR feel,
Yes.
Good evening. This evening we're going to be discussing John Williams for the 18th episode consecutively. And it's like, okay, like cool and stuff. And yes, God bless St. John. But at the same time, you could be talking about somebody else. You could be talking about somebody new. You could be talking about somebody very old. You could be talking about something because that's the other thing. We'll talk about stuff that's really fucking bad.
And you have to, because a music makes a movie better in some way. And at the same time, like you say, it's the only positive thing you can think about. And sometimes it's just as bad as the quality of the movie. And so you don't know until you take the plunge.
Oh, you're absolutely right. What I'm saying is we intentionally pick stuff that we know is going to be bad. Because the thing,
yes.
Because the thing is, like, it's all well and good to listen to a movie score podcast and learn something. But like, I mean, our logo is literally, we replaced the dinosaur in the Jurassic Park movie with a guy drinking a beer. Like we started this podcast with the idea of doing kind of like a punk rock version of the film score genre. And then we kind of got accidentally better at it by virtue of doing it for this long, but not by virtue of trying, I assure you. It's just muscle memory. And we got to interview some people and stuff like that. I have a really exciting interview that I cannot talk about yet, but I am profoundly excited about it. So that will be coming hopefully soon too. And then we got a bunch of additional shows that we do. I do a one-off show called Krueger Records, where I talk to musically inclined people about their favorites albums. And then we've got Stereo Mix, which is the new show that Aaron and I are doing, where we're talking to people about gear, about musical gear. So it's a bit of a more of a sort of tech nerdy kind of a show. And then we have all of our regular specials as well. So if you guys are listening to this and you're interested, you should pop by and check it out. I
will definitely check out Krueger and the other one. But yeah, I've listened to. I still got composers in my Podbean downloading feed, and I'm not surprised when a new one drops. And I'm just like, because like you say, yes, it is fun to even just kind of go in blind. There's movies I would go thrift store shopping back when that was the thing, and I'd get a shit ton of music albums that you can't even get on Amazon. They're just that rare, and it's like, this is going to be interesting. Now I'm going to have to see this movie and see if all the best stuff is on just the album itself. It until the fifth viewing, and if the movie's bad, well, that's going to be my last time I view it. But hey, great soundtrack came out of that god awful garbage.
Sometimes the best conversations come out of the worst media.
It really is. And we pride ourselves on just like cult movies also. It's like after a while, everyone's going to get sick of talking. And when we do our talks about franchises, we just like, let's just keep it simple. What's the single best like thrilling or chilling moment, and what's the villain that stands out, and what's your score? Because it's like, we've done this bitch to death, like everyone has covered Halloween or Die Hard.
Yeah, buddy, tell me about it. Holy shit.
But it would be definitely interesting, if you talk about Halloween 4, which has kind of found a resurgent, like with reconstructed images, like score it. It's like, is the album good? Well, depends on whether you like the movie or.
Oh God, is that Halloween 4? The what the hell was the name of Halloween 4?
Dwight H. Little, Return of Mike Myers, or some bullshit.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, okay, that was not the one, because we did this past Halloween. We did a whole 2-part. Well, not a 2-part, but we did like a 2-score episode for Halloween. We did Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, with my
I
buddy
remember
Andy
that.
Sell.
I was surprised. It was like, what?
Oh, I was so mad. Oh, and Andy was so upset, and rightly so, because the recording fucked up and we didn't get to release it. But I thought for a second, I thought that was the same movie that you were talking about. I'm like, goddamn Halloween, but it was not.
It was interesting though too, because it's like the movie's infamous, and at the same time, is like you're having to, when you revisit stuff. But when people do these articles, it's so hard to, even when you find an article, this is like, do they legit want to see how it's aged because they're like a super fan as bad as the franchise became, or are they just doing, a Den of Geek, Screen Rant, easy, heavily advertised one is like, okay, clickbait.
Yep.
And so it is cool to just see is like that podcast like yourself and just other ones out there is like, I recommend the New World Pictures podcast and the Canon's Canon, even some of these other real comic heroes, shout out to them. They go in order of like adaptations. So before they get to the official, Chris Evans Captain America movies, they're gonna go through the infamous 70s ones and probably be one of the few podcasts that have covered, that version of that character. And that's part of the deal is like, well, got to get through the bad and before you get to the good, unfortunately. And if you make that part of your modus operandi, then yeah, that's just how it works. That's how it gels. Keep doing great work out there, and don't beat yourself up about this, because like I say, this is not our day job, guys. It's not. It's hard to produce content, and then you got to remaster the sound and make sure it airs on the right date, and everyone else, promotes it. It's hard.
This is harder than people think it is. Everybody thinks it's like back before the pandemic when we still had live entertainment. It's like burlesque. It's something that everybody thinks they can do because it's like, oh, you just go up on stage and dance around, take off your clothes. No. Oh, I'm going to be a voice actor, right? Because I can talk, or I'm going to be a writer because I know what words are and I can put them in an order. Like it just like people need to understand that everything is so much harder than you think it is. Everything. Life is so much harder than you think.
Fred Durst thinks he can sing and be a director. Oh.
Fred Durst thinks he can host a jazz night in Los Angeles and also an Instagram that he posts the photos of nothing but station wagons. That sounds like the most nonsensical thing you guys will hear all week, but I assure you it is true.
I believe it because no one told him no, and if they told him no, he did it anyway. He's so mad when people don't like it. I'm like, he might be a nice guy, but I mean...
I don't think that guy cares anymore. I don't think he has given a fraction of a fuck for the better part of 15 years. And why would he? He managed to make an entire career out of covering not Prince. Who the fuck does Faith?
Oh, Faith No More.
George Michael.
Oh God.
They made their money off of a questionable George Michael cover, and then just like nookie and breaking shit for like 15 years and red hats and a cult following. The man started a riot. People died. And now he just gets to host a jazz night. Music is crazy.
There was a great, we pretty much have navigated through so much. Do you still watch Vice News or whatever? They had a special on Woodstock 99.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
Oh man, I was like, and when they twisted the narrative in that last hour, like this definitely seems to be some of the venomous we see on internet trolls and January 6th. I'm like, oh yeah. And these supposedly, progressive types signed off on this because they thought everyone would eat it up. I'm like, yeah, but it's not positive. You bred negativity into the world.
So the takeaway here should be, come listen to Composers, the Woodstock 99 of film score podcasts.
Correct. Instead of listening to shit that you hate on the radio, like listen to people who are gonna dissect what we love and hate. Thank you ever so much again. This was total delight.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
We'll return after these messages.
Hey, it's Brent Pope, the host of Breakfast with Brent Pope. You've seen me on some of your favorite TV shows saying things like, give it up, Jimmy. You got to sink this putt to win. On Breakfast with Brent Pope, I sit down with guests from the entertainment world, and we do it all over breakfast. Or should I say Brentfast? Every week on Brentfast, you get inside Hollywood info and tips, great breakfast recs and booty debates. Most of all, you get the most delightful 30 minutes of your week. So dig in. It's Brentfast time. Listen at Brentfast.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever fine podcasts are found.
Do you ever find yourself thinking about who would win in a fight between Goku and Superman? Hi, I'm James Gavsey, and on the Who Would Win show, me and my co-host Ray ignore anything important happening in the outside world and debate fictional battles between characters from comics, movies, and video games.
We got a new show every week, and almost always am I the winner.
Yeah, not true, Ray.
In the past, we've discussed such matches as Captain America versus Darth Vader, Solid Snake versus the Iron Giant, classic matchups like RoboCop versus Terminator, and even the Muppets versus Sesame Street.
That one was crazy. So if you're a fan of geek culture and love a spirited debate, check out the Who Would Win show wherever you get your podcasts, or check us out at whowouldwinshow.com.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening.